Roses are red, violets are blue. Jonathan LaPaglia, you know I love you. I'm going to get a little bit comfortable here. I'm going to take this guy off, I suppose.
Oh my gosh.
Lisa.
Oh, the golden god. He's here.
How's it going?
I don't want to make this weird from the top, but I've got full disclosure. I'm a full-blown obsesso fan of yours.
That's okay. I'm a big fan of mine as well.
Okay, great. Well, we're all on the
Much
same
appreciated.
page. Hey, now you said you were going to do the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air rap. Are we going to get a little bit of that?
Oh, but I need the tunes. I need the beats. Have you guys got? I just love that jam you guys have got where it's like, bah, bah, nah, and it reminded me of Fresh Prince. So I thought, I don't know if we can get that on. I mean, I'll just do Fresh Prince off the top if people want it.
Okay, so I was trying to get a workaround, but actually we can't get sound through this. So if you're going to do it, you just
I'm gonna have to acapella it.
Acapella.
All right. In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playgrounds where I spent most of my days, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all, shooting some b-ball outside of the school till a couple of guys that were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight and my mom got scared. She said, "I'm moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air." There you go. Done.
Wow.
No beats or anything.
I honestly never thought that my isolation would end up like this, but I'm so happy that this is where we are. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining me for Recess. Basically, just to anyone that's tuning in who doesn't know why we're doing this, we thought it's a good idea for people to take a little break, step away from the news, and we thought, let's kick it old school, have a little snack with our favorite fans. So thank you so much for joining us. I want to get a little vibe check and see how you're doing amid all of this crazy shit that's going on.
I'm doing good. Getting a little crazy, but we're trying to stay having fun and the like. Yeah, I mean, it's self-isolation. Like, I know people are getting pretty crazy over there because it's like being in your house all the time, and there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress going on for people right now. People are unsure about their jobs, what's going to be happening. So I'm always trying to take at least like 15-20 minutes of my day to do a little meditation and just step back from that and try to be as present and in my body as I can, and try to stop living out here, which is what I think happens when stuff like this is going on, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And you were based in New York before. Are you officially back here, or are you just stuck here now for the foreseeable future?
Well, I am stuck here now, but officially back. So
okay.
That was a big part of my journey with Survivor was, you know, if I can find a way to be back in Australia and to forge a bit of a career in Australia, that's what I wanted to do. So I just made it out of New York in time, which is good, and now back in Aussie, back in Perth.
Okay, well, we're so happy to have you back officially, and you actually can't leave now, so we've got you.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I think WA's shutting its borders completely on Sunday, so I'm not going anywhere for a while.
Right, keep us riff-raff out. Now, you're a dad. You've got 3 kids. Yes. A lot of people are having to homeschool their kids now. I want to know, are you like teaching your kids how to scheme and strategize and forage and forget about maths and all that shit? Because it's like, you just need to learn how to survive in times like this.
We're doing like serious survival skills in my house. That's all we're doing. No, when I moved to Perth, we were debating, like, do we do an apartment or a house? And we were used to living in a townhouse in New York. So we made the decision of like, let's do something easy. We'll get an apartment. It was already furnished and all that kind of stuff. And now we're immediately regretting that decision because we don't have a backyard. But the kids have been really great. So we're just trying to keep up with as much stuff we can. We're just doing, like, my wife is doing some classwork with them. I'm doing some music lessons, and yeah, we're just enjoying ourselves as much as we can and trying to make it fun for them, because it's a really rough time for the kids too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as many in-house challenges that you can do, just have, like, I don't know, some sort of obstacle course, just really get them, keep their minds going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I want to check in about you are an international male model. I want to check in on your isolation beauty regime, because I jumped on your live the other night and asked what shampoo you use. And you said Head and Shoulders because you don't like that dandruff. And I'm like, yes, bitch, that's me.
I think everyone was expecting me to say some like super fancy high-end brand, but like legit, you just use Head and Shoulders. That's totally true. My one has been making fun of me like crazy, but it works very well.
I mean, look at us. We don't look too bad, do we?
How's my salad? How's my flow?
I mean, we could use a comb through there, but no judgment.
It's early in Perth. Please don't sell me out like that.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You look wonderful. Okay, so we know we've got so many of your fans jumping on. There's a little questions box, so we're going to get to as many of them as we can.
All right. Cool.
But right now, I'm feeling a little snacky, and I think it's time that we dip into the lunch box.
Oh,
did you prepare a snack?
I did prepare something earlier.
Okay. Oh. No, that's not how we remember you eating the popcorn. You got a face plant into it.
It was probably something a little more along the lines of this.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's what I remember. Now, in honor of you, I've gone a little rice and beans today.
No. Why
And
would you do that to yourself?
Because I just thought if you had to go through all of that pain for our viewing pleasure, I'm going to do this for you today for jumping on and chatting.
That's very sweet. Imagine if you opened your lunchbox and Mum had given you rice and beans.
I know, but I reckon there were some kids out there that like had that going on for sure.
No. You'd be very disappointed. Where's the tiny teddies, Mum? Like, what's going on here?
I was going to do something old school for you, but I was just like, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to do a rice and beans gag. And do you know what? Lucky I Googled it because I was just going to have freaking beans out of the can. It was like, you have to cook them, otherwise you will get violently ill.
Yeah, that was the really tough thing about the beans is that when you're cooking them, how is that?
Lovely.
That was my life for 50 days. But you have to soak them. You have to cook them for ages to get rid of all the like stuff on the outside of the shell. So it's not just like, oh, a quick boil. It took like 2 or 3 hours to be able to make edible beans. So whilst beans were on the ration list, you weren't actually eating them that often. It was mainly just rice. It's too hard to cook.
I mean, I don't know how you did it, but well done. Okay, so we're having some school snacks, and I've been asking everyone what they were like at school. What was your vibe at school? Were you a bit orcs before you became a top model?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you saw that photo, right? I think I sent you a school picture.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, buddy. There he is.
Well, I mean, how's that? That's a very speedy haircut.
Yeah, well, so this came off the back of me. I went through this phase where I was really into like spiky hair at school. Okay. But my mom wouldn't let me use gel. She was like, you just wet it. So I'd wet my hair down in the morning and it'd be kind of like back and start to spike up. And I became obsessed with the idea of my teacher calling me Spike because of that. This makes me cringe so hard when I think of it. I was super cool in school. Super cool.
I mean, I just use the lankiness. I can feel it coming through in that picture.
I was very, very tall and very, very skinny.
I mean, look at him. He went on to be like the best Survivor player we've ever seen.
I still can pull that face though. I think it's something like
a little bit deer in the headlights. That's why they pay you the big bucks as a top model, I guess. Okay, so it would be remiss of me not to like just get stuck into some Survivor questions, and I had to cull it down so much, so bear with me if we go like maybe a little bit over time. Okay, so as you know, huge Survivor fan. When you played the first time, I didn't like you. You were the villain to me. I was like, who is this guy? Like, I was like, I just didn't like this player. And then you went away, but you had all like the makings for it. And like, you're obviously challenge beast. Like, you can play a really good social game. You have all of that. But at what point, like when you decided to come back for All Stars, did you go, the thing that I need to unlock to make my game like unbeatable is humility?
Right. Well, I felt the same way about you when we started this chat. And fortunately, as we moved along,
I've come good.
I'm sensing your humility, Lisa. You know, I'm really appreciating I think, look, I think the biggest difference is like I play a big TV game, and I think the biggest difference this time is that I was in the game long enough that people got to see the other side of me, like the real side of me. So I had my TV character. I was playing the big villain.
There we go.
There you go. I was playing the big villain character, but then I managed to stay in the show long enough where like the story arc actually gets some completion, and then you get to see the real me. I'm a bit of a family man. I'm like a bit of this and that, and you get to see more of my story as opposed to just me doing pieces to camera, like smack talking people. Because I do like me some smack talk.
I mean, that worked this time around. I don't know, but like it was like aggressive gameplay, but it wasn't too like on the nose. Like it was honestly just so much fun to watch you this season, and I like fully bought into it. But there was like, I mean, it was. People think that it's easy to just turn on the TV, but you really have to ride with someone the whole way through. There was a point at the end there where you were really going head to head with Brooke, and you were so sick, obviously like the spider bite, and you've gotten really sick. There was that challenge that you did with her. You looked so unwell, and I was like, I hope he doesn't drop out. Was there any question that maybe you were going to have to leave?
I was definitely thinking about it. The closest I came to leaving was actually on day one. So Matt Rogers, I don't know if you remember the challenge, but there was all these planks of wood and we had to build a really massive bonfire.
Yeah.
And we'd been pushed, that cart weighed a ton. And so everyone had been working really hard to push that cart. We were completely gassed. And Matt Rogers accidentally picks up a piece of wood and just throws it towards the bonfire, just being like, I got to move wood as fast as possible. And this piece just flies through, and I turned at exactly the right time, and it hits me right in the leg. Oh. So I looked down. Actually, I didn't look down straight away. I looked at Matt, and I was mad at him. I was like, dude, I've never met him before. And I was like, what? Are you serious? And he looks at me and looks down, and then his face just like changed.
Oh, shit.
And I looked down, and blood is pouring out of my shin. Like pouring out. It was like completely. So I'll see if I can get my leg up.
Oh, that's for life. That's staying there for life, I reckon.
Yeah, so 10 stitches on the very first day. And I've just finished last season. It's been 6 weeks since the new season, and I've like never had stitches before. I'm laying like I completed the challenge with my leg hanging open.
Just pissing with blood.
My full on the shoe was soaked with blood. Side note, they made me wear those same shoes. I didn't get to do anything. I washed them out in the ocean. That's how they got clean.
You know what? That's why you're the winner.
Yeah, so I'm like laying on the beach, and they've got someone like stitching me up, and I'm legit like, I'm gonna leave. I just don't want to do this again. And fortunately, I didn't, because yeah, here we are. I won. That was the closest I came to leaving. The Brooke challenge. Do you want to move on, or should I keep going?
No, I mean I could be here all day, really.
So the Brooke challenge, when I'm coming down the ladder, you know how we had to climb the ladder, and Brooke and I knew at this point, whoever wins this challenge wins the game. Yeah. It's the 4th spot.
100%.
It's the most important challenge of the game. The next like I go, she wins next immunity, she's gonna win. So I'm climbing up the ladder, like giving everything I can, and they had been very specific because there's safety rules to this thing, you know. And sometimes when the adrenaline's kicking, they go out the window, but they tell you like, please be safe, like don't jump down the ladder. So I'm trying to go down that ladder one rung at a time, and I miss a step, and I dropped about 3 or 4 rungs. My leg hyperextends, and I dislocated my kneecap.
No, thanks.
Yeah. So in turn, because of the dislocated kneecap, I ruptured my LCL on the outside of my leg. And so now I'm doing that high step, going through under the things, doing all that thing with a dislocated knee. Oh my God. Yeah. So it was not pleasant. And yeah, being on that balance beam and doing that thing. The funny thing is, your senses are so hyper aware, and there was so much pressure on Brooke and myself that you just don't feel it. And it wasn't until later on when I was back with my GP and they were going over my body and the spider bites and the scans on my knee and my butt cheek and my back and stuff. And they were just like, what have you been doing?
Oh my God. And I guess like when you broke down crying at the end there, it was like half, yes, I know that I'm going through now, but I'm also in a lot of pain.
Yeah, it was mainly from the pain.
See, I'm reading into it being like, oh, it's for his family, like, yes, but you're like just in so much pain. Okay, so we know that like one of the special parts of Survivor are these sort of friendships that are forged, and one that I personally really loved was you and good old Tarzan.
How good is that? How good?
Oh my gosh! So behind the scenes, I'm not sure if you know this, but Tarzan and myself have become really good friends because I wrote an article early in the isolation days that read, "Have I been in isolation too long, or is it hot?"
Oh, I read that article.
Yeah, so that was my
I think I commented on it that it's not just the isolation.
Honestly, it's moved into a fully fledged crush. But the reason why I asked that is Survivor is the ultimate isolation, right? You're away from everything. Did your mind start to play tricks on you? Like, did you see mirages? Was that cow real?
Oh yeah, big time, big time. And that coupled with not eating and also not sleeping. So I probably slept 2 or 3 hours a night max. And you know when you have a really bad night's sleep and then you wake up the next morning and things are a bit foggy, but you're like, that was every day. So trying to clear that out and seeing stuff, and yeah, it was pretty intense. Taz and I had some pretty in-depth chats about that out there.
Oh my gosh, he's such a boggly guy. Like, I love him. He jumped on your live the other night. It's just what's going on about the bee that stung him in the eye, and you were just like, just goes off on some really interesting tangents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned the other night there's something that happened with you and AK, some sort of moral dilemma that happened. Are you able to?
Oh yeah.
What
moral
happened?
dilemma? So I can't remember exactly what day it was. It might have been just after. It would have been just after the Shawnee vote out, and there was like they didn't really do tree mail this season. Like my season, we actually had like a little box, like almost like a birdhouse, and we would check that every day, and there'd be messages in there. But this season, like if there was any kind of like message or note that came, it just like ended up being in the shelter. We'd be gone from a challenge, come back, and there'd be something there for us to read. And so there was a note there that was talking about a moral dilemma. And at this point of the game, I'm at this juncture, even after the cake reward and all that kind of stuff, where I'm like, they're never going to trust me to do any of these things. And this might have been a little turning point of the game because they actually trusted me to be the person to go do the moral dilemma. And so we actually had a bit of a bartering thing with the other alliance that they could pick someone and my side would pick someone. So they let AK and myself go do this moral dilemma. And we walked off down the path, and the moral dilemma was basically all these different food dishes. And the dilemma was you had to decide who got what. There was a pizza, there was a coconut, there was a family trinkets and stuff. What else did they have? A vegan burger, toasted sandwich. There was a bunch of different things. We had to figure out who to allocate stuff to in that moral dilemma. And so AK and I went through about probably a solid 45 minutes of negotiation as to who would get what. And we came back to the beach and gave out all the food and all that kind of stuff. And AK, being at the point of the game where he knew he was probably on the chopping block next, got to have a full pizza. And you weren't able to share the food with anyone. So we were sitting back in the shelter, and I was like, you know, I'm trying to do the good guy thing. I'm trying to get out of my villainous ways. So I had a coconut and like let the other guys have the food. And I was sitting in the shelter watching AK eat a pizza. And it was the worst thing ever with this crappy little coconut that only had a tiny bit of juice in it. And I was like, this sucks.
Oh my God. Well, that was him out though.
Yeah, it was just at that stage in the game too. The writing, I think we were now down to what we would be at Jackie was 8, 7. So the next vote was going to be an even vote. So he didn't really have much room to move on that vote. Like the writing was on the wall at that stage. No, I like trying to flip someone at the 7 going into a 6 vote is pretty tricky.
Yeah, I mean, AK hung on as long as he could. I think he did a good job.
He did a great job, and someone who was very under-edited in the show. I think he played such a good game this time, AK. Like a really great, amazing social game. AK is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. He's such a nice dude, and he can throw down. And me and him went at each other in tribals like crazy. And it's game to us. Like AK's the same as me. It's just a game. And we'd go back on the beach and we'd just be hugging it out. And I'd be like, dude, that was so awesome. And he'd be like, I know. And it just not a lot of that stuff was shown.
Oh, damn.
So,
maybe we'll get an editor's cut. Okay, I've got so many questions. Okay, I came up with a would you rather. Would you rather have Luke whispering in your ear, yeah, boy, for 13 hours straight?
Oh, dear.
Or have to eat every meal out of Tarzan's beard, using it as a
I'd say eat every meal out of Tarzan's beard.
Okay, so just like slurp a soup up out of there.
Yeah. I can be gross when I need to be. That doesn't bug me out. I think the thought of Luke whispering, yeah, boy, for 12 hours straight might be, that's very cruel. That's an insane form of torture.
On Luke, some rumors that you guys may have a project coming. Can we get any little teas on that?
Lukey and I will definitely have something coming up. So we're talking a lot about it. And we were saying too, it's just such a weird time now with the COVID-19 stuff and production. But Lukey and I have got some really fun ideas. We can't really talk about too much stuff, but we're both WA boys. We're both very close friends, and we'll be doing some projects together very soon.
Okay, cannot wait for that. And I'm gonna end off my Survivor questions with lots of talk about you doing the US one. Obviously, once we all get over this, A, are you gonna do that? And B, would you ever be up for a US Survivor, Australia Survivor head to head?
I love the idea of head to head. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't want to disappoint fans, but I don't think Australia-US will happen. It's just because of the production companies and the way licensing is and things are. It could be tricky to get that done. I think it's an awesome idea. And that was actually what I thought the theme was going to be for All-Stars. Right. So when I was asked to play again, they didn't say it's going to be an all-star season. They were like, we want you again. We're doing another season. And then I was like, whoa, okay. And then rumors started floating around about Australia versus US. And I got very excited about that. I thought that was such a cool idea. So I would love it if that did happen. US Survivor, I will play US Survivor. I need to get some time. Obviously, we've got to wait for this COVID thing to calm down, which will hopefully happen soon. And then I would say I would like at least a year, maybe 2 years before I go again. And also just to let the heat wear off my game a little bit.
Yeah.
The question is, what kind of US season do I fit into? That's the tricky part, because if I'm going against guys that haven't played before, do you watch US Survivor?
Yeah, we actually just started, thanks to Channel 10, we've been dipping into some of the legacy seasons. And it's a hugely different game. Like it's so wildly different to the Australian one. The Americans are so ham.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways it's an easier game, but in a lot of ways it's a harder game. Like strategically, they're much bigger, but I think physically and socially they're not on our level. So it would be definitely interesting to see. But if I come back in that capacity, am I playing against people who haven't played before? Do they bring in myself and someone else in kind of like a Boston Rob, Russell Hance scenario? And you saw what happened in that.
You've got to go head to head with Boston Rob. Like that's the.
I think Rob's going to be done after this. He's played a lot.
How many more times can he go back?
Yeah, but look, I mean, he's made a career out of being on Survivor. So. But yeah, we'll see. I'm just as long as the concept is interesting to me, I'll entertain it. I wouldn't come back just for another All-Star Australian season right now. I'm not interested in that. But if it's a cool concept and we got some cool stuff, I'll definitely do it. And US Survivor will happen. It's just a timing issue. Matter
of time. Okay, I'm going to go to some of these questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
That are coming through. There's a lot. Oh, okay. This is a very spicy spisolation one.
Uh-oh.
Who put the single vote on Shine in the finale?
Oh, that was Moana. Moana gave Moana gave Sean that last vote.
How do you feel about that?
Look, I love both those women. They're both really close friends of mine. And like I said to you before, it's a game. So I don't hold grudges in the game. At the time when you're voting and with the information you have and just how you're feeling about things, like she hasn't seen the edit. She hasn't seen what's come back. Yeah. Sean and Moana outside of the game are very close friends. And I knew that inside the game, and that was actually a tool I was using to my advantage with a lot of people in the game, was them being close friends. And they didn't have that advantage with me because I was obviously really close friends with Abby and John Easto, but we hadn't had as much time to develop relationships. So when people are making those votes, they're just using that information they've got in the moment. There's a lot of emotion involved in it. And yeah, I totally understood why. If I had a friend sitting up there that I knew outside the game, I would vote for them too. I like to think I would vote for the best game in that situation. But sometimes the heart overwhelms the head. And I think that's just really what it was about. There wasn't any bad blood or anything like that.
Okay, nice. I mean, you won in the end, so it's not
it's not the worst, but I am a perfectionist, and I was slightly annoyed. The whole reason, really, I wanted to take Sean was because I felt she gave me the best chance of sweeping the jury. So when I was comparing the votes, and I thought Mo maybe catches 2 votes. When I was thinking about it, wasn't quite sure where those would go. I felt like she would get the friend vote from Sean and possibly a vote from Jackie. I was actually really pleasantly surprised about Jackie's thought process in the final vote, because she's actually a really good game player too. And so at the time when I was weighing it up, I was like, maybe she gets 2, whereas I felt like with Sean, I had a really good chance to take all the votes.
I mean, it's just, there was no question about it. You had to take Sean in order to give yourself the best option to win. Like, it's a no-brainer. Okay, so this is freaking hilarious, this question. Where do you see your career going? Are you still planning on modeling? I've seen the Golden God merch.
Yeah. Look, I've been a professional model for, what are we going on now, 17 years. So it's something that I'll never completely step away from, especially in terms of my connections with companies and that kind of stuff. So I will still do some modeling, but for me, my career now is in television. I want to act, I want to be hosting, and I want to go down that road. So television, radio, those kind of things. I've got a podcast that's coming up I'll be doing. So that's really where I see myself. I like to consider myself more of an entertainer than anything, Lisa. So modeling's been great. It's been an amazing career. I've had such a good time, but it is kind of like a one-dimensional space. So yeah, I'm going to push way more into the television side of things. Thank you for that question.
Okay, good. Well, you're super entertaining, so I think you're going to do just fine with that. Okay, so I think now we've got to play a little bit of Chatterbox Truth or Dare.
Oh, yeah.
So, you familiar with one of these bad
boys? You know I am.
Fun little fact, you could do this with your kids and just put like survivor challenges on there.
Yeah, clean the toilet. Wash the dishes.
All right, let's get you to choose a color.
All right, I'm gonna come up a little close here. What are you
Sorry.
there? Is there a blue on there?
Yeah, let's take a blue.
Blue, please.
BLUE. Take a number.
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
2.
2. Oh, okay, it's down.
Uh-oh, here we go.
And you know, this is how sophisticated our setup is. I'm going to bring the dare up here for you. Okie dokie. The dare is to perform a spoken word poem about how much you love Jonathan LaPali.
A spoken word poem? We're doing a haiku?
Yeah, look, whatever your, you know, interpretation.
I got you. Roses are red, violets are blue. Jonathan LaPaglia, you know I love you.
That was beautiful.
I used that in one of my voting confessionals with Nick, because Nick would have killed that poetry section.
Oh yeah, big teach, big teach. You know what? I feel like John, he really like opened up a lot this season. He was giving hugs. He was like, he was a little bit softer, I felt.
Yeah, he's like such a good dude. And John is there for everything, all those challenges. He's not like hosting and then like, peace guys, I'll be back later. He stays like the whole day in the sun, the same stuff we're doing, obviously not the torture. He tries out all the challenges too. So he can.
Small. He's so fit.
Yeah. And yeah, this season was, I think he just had a bit more space to operate. I think he's so good at his job. And you know how it is hosting stuff. A lot of times, it's not Instagram Live. You have to stick to kind of a pretty strict script and be told what to say and that kind of stuff. And this time, like they let John have a bit more rope. He is so funny. Like you only see a quarter of the stuff he says, especially when he's doing those innuendos. And you'll be trying to concentrate on challenges and stuff, and he's just off the cuff, like bush. He's busting nuts. He's grabbing balls, like.
Or when he talks about getting it in the box and shit like that, I'm like, I know what you're doing.
And it's like so hard to concentrate when he's doing that. You're like, what is going on here? Because he's genuinely a funny guy, but he's just such a good dude.
Amazing. Okay, so to finish us off, as I was saying before, it's really important to keep your mental health in check right now. And I know, you know, how much you love to do meditation. Would you be up for doing like a quick, like 30-second guided meditation with me?
Yeah, let's do it. Should we just do some breathing? I've been doing like Wim Hof technique, but I'm not gonna do that now. I think we should just do some like nice controlled breaths.
Okay.
But with the Wim Hof technique, for people who are watching this, it's something you should definitely check out. But I think if you're just kind of getting started with it, you won't go too deep into the Wim Hof. We'll just do some nice controlled breaths. So I'm going to get a little bit comfortable here. I better take this guy off, I suppose. You have to. It's very important to.
Should I do the same or?
Yes.
That get a bit weird. Oh, here he is.
So we're just going to get nice and comfortable. Not coronavirus, I promise. Sorry, I've been doing a lot of talking over the last couple of days. So you're basically going to get nice and comfortable. I like to cross my legs. You're going to sit up in a pretty straight position. And when you breathe, you're going to breathe in and you're actually going to pull from your diaphragm so your belly goes out. And you fill up your lungs. And when you breathe out and pull everything back in. Like, all right? And we're going to try and just breathe in for 6 seconds. So we're going to go in.
Okay.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2 seconds. And release. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold for 2 seconds. And breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 2 seconds. Release. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2 seconds. We're doing 2 more rounds. And in. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2 seconds. And out. 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is just good breath. Like, you start getting control of your breath in this way. You can do that before bed. It'll help you with sleeping. You can do it, you know, in the morning if you're feeling super anxious about like what's going on. I did an Instagram live with a guy, Michael Cristoforo, who has a website called Fertile Soil that has heaps of guided meditation stuff. And get into it because it's really good for you. Yeah. It's good for your headspace, especially at this crazy time.
I feel really like calm now. Really nice and relaxed. Dave, thank you so much for joining me. You have no idea what an honor this has been for me. Thank you so much. And I wish you all the best. I know you're going to go on to do some amazing things. And thank you for entertaining us in this kind of crazy time.
Lisa, thank you so much for having me on. And thanks everyone for watching.
Okay, bye.
See you later.
Wow. I feel amazing after that. If you're not feeling okay, that's totally okay right now. Things are pretty overwhelming. Lots of great services out there. You've got Headspace at headspace.org.au, or you can call Lifeline on 13 11 14. Lots of people out there who are going to help you.